Ghastly acts, Edinburgh Castle has fashionably caved in on itself, but sparing its eerie windows and a sinkhole which is believed to hold the madman's victims.
This is here to remind us, anytime we pass here, that if we can't do anything good in this world, we shouldn't do anything bad.
And to close our chronicles, the story of the returning resident seeking a post-retirement investment. Eh?
There was this hill on that view, breathtaking view, isn't it, of our country? And I could see those laborers there picking the pimento.
Jennifer Carr is an unlikely queen of the hill. She's mistress of a 270-year-old pimento plantation in Limehall, St. Anne.
Can you imagine that if I did not bought this property, they would not be able to come beyond the gate.
Jennifer's perfect retirement gift to herself, she says, was her own little piece of the rock, preferably someplace unique, and the Liberty Hill Great House was the package she picked.
Most of the great houses are not living, working great houses. They're just a tour, and here people can stay here.
Liberty Hill was built in 1740 as a pimento estate. Though the dark, berry-like spice is picked here seasonally, Jennifer has found new use for the plantation.
Our mission here is health and wellness. So when you come, you're coming to refresh and rejuvenate.
As you might have guessed, until the plantation changed hands and ended up in Jennifer's, white mistresses and masters ruled this roost exclusively.
I'm the first black that owns it. Majority of the people in the community did not know this place exists up here because they were not allowed to come through the gate.
She's a woman who obviously loves the property. It's a beautiful property. She's put a lot of passion into it. It's got great history there.
I think the lady must be commended. I have never seen anything like that. I would love to stay there.
Looking after Liberty Hill is far more than just keeping up appearances. Jennifer Carr, the first black owner, is now trustee of a declared national monument. Its peripheral ruins and the first Taino site, which was in fact excavated on the estate in 1912.
Perhaps Jennifer Carr could have rediscovered Colbeck or Edinburgh's usefulness, but she happened upon Liberty Hill instead. Each is an equally portioned ingredient of a delectable potpourri that makes us and them uniquely Jamaican. Colbeck, Edinburgh and Liberty Hill, along with 28 other monuments and sites, are operated as attractions by the Jamaica National Heritage Trust. They're all yours. Some sites have tour guides on location to relay their history, but feel free to conceive your own version.
Up next, a recap of the latest issues making the news thread here in Jamaica.
Energy, justice, social security, and youth empowerment were all issues of major consideration in recent days. Hi there, I'm Simone Wolf with your news of the week. Government is pursuing an arrangement to produce electricity for selected sectors in the economy at more competitive rates. Minister of Industry, Investment and Commerce Carl Samuda says this is meant as another step to encourage investment and business development in the country.
We continue to be hopeful that we will make a breakthrough in terms of having some special arrangement for a sector that is so crucial to the development of the country.
Plans are well advanced to implement recommendations made by the Jamaica Justice System Reform Task Force. Minister of Justice and Attorney General Senator Dorothy Lightburn says implementation is already underway on more than 70 recommendations.
We have referred 14 of them to the Ministry of National Security as they fall under that portfolio. And about 9 recommendations have been determined will require further assessment before implementation.
Government has launched a special program to provide training opportunities in literacy, employability skills, and entrepreneurship to young persons. The Steps to Work program is an initiative of the Labour and Social Security Ministry in collaboration with the World Bank and other stakeholders.
It is an interventionist program and a vital option, especially for youth who have dropped out of school at the post-grade 9 level.
Steps to Work also has a loan facility component where beneficiaries are provided with necessary assistance to start their own microbusiness. A National Youth Parliamentary Watch Committee has been launched to review bills before Parliament and to see that there is follow-up and action on decisions made concerning the nation's youths. Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Youth, Culture and Sports, Senator Warren Newby, says this will help put an end to the traditional notion that young people must be seen and not heard.
The statistics indicate that more than 50% of Jamaicans are below the age of 30. And therefore, all policies will have greatest impact on that age group. It behoves us, therefore, to incorporate them into the development process, to allow them to freely express their views. It is not a position that is adversarial, but one of collaboration and participation.
And those were just some of the stories making news here in Jamaica in recent days. Latest news of the week.
On this week's edition of Issues and Answers, Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries Dr. Christopher Tufton and General Manager of the Jamaica National Building Society Earl Jarrett speak on some of the major issues discussed at the recently concluded Hemispheric Conference on Agriculture, held at the Ritz-Carlton Hotel in Montego Bay.
Minister, Mr. Jarrett, good to have you on Issues and Answers. I gather the recent conference of Hemispheric Ministers of Agriculture went down very well. It was held at Ritz-Carlton, was it?
Ritz-Carlton, yes.
Tell us about some of the main things, Minister, which came out of the conference.
Sure. Well, we had a good turnout. We had 33 of 34 countries represented. Honduras, as you know, has some political issues. They weren't there. Over 300 delegates. And we emerged with a 16-point agreement looking at the next 2 years and the agro plan for the hemisphere with specific reference to areas that the delegates felt were critical towards advancing sustainable agriculture. So issues related to agro-processing, related to climate change and what needs to be done, the need for respective countries to develop a food security policy that captures those critical themes, the role of ICA, which is the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation in Agriculture, apart from having an election with a new Director General emerging after Dr. Brathwaite demitted office, having served 2 terms. ICA was brought in as part of the agreement to help to drive the respective country plans as part of the overall hemispheric plan, which is unusual, them being mentioned specifically in the agreement.
Okay. One of the important things which took place at the conference was the private-public sector